the primary function of the feminine is desire, and the primary function of the masculine is the production of that desire, but we must have both. We must have both and be alliance with both to have that powerful creative experience that we desire. Hey there, prosperity seeker. Welcome to another episode of The Prosperity Approach. I'm your host, Allyson Chavez, and as always, I'm thrilled that you've joined us, and of course, I'm excited about today's topic. But first, if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, be sure that you're following the podcast on your favorite app. And if you're watching this on YouTube right now, be sure to click that red subscribe button below and click the notification bell so you get notified every time a new video is released. And if you just want to see what we're up to over at AllysonChavez.com, go on over there. You're welcome to join our free online experiences anytime. We've got a free prosperity guide there for you. Lots of fantastic free resources to help your prosperity journey be a little bit more smoother, a whole lot faster, and a whole lot more pleasurable. So let's talk for just a few minutes about the feminine versus masculine in these feminine energy traits. We've been hearing a lot about the feminine awakening, right? The divine feminine. And if you haven't been hearing about it, just by me mentioning it, you're going to start hearing a whole lot about it. We're feeling this shift in the planet. And I'm not talking about all of the noise and all of the fighting and all of the thing and all of the upset and upheaval that's going on in the planet right now. We're feeling as women this feminine kind of an uprising, but more of an awakening. It's not, women against men now or men against women. It's really about coming together to create an alliance with our feminine and our masculine energies. And I have been swept away by that as well. The real feminine awakening started in 2012. And if you recall back in 2012, that's really when I started waking up myself and wanting to learn more about healing and wanting to learn more about energy and more about who I am as a woman and as a creator and really wanting to make a difference in the world. And if you can relate to that at all, then I'm glad that we're having this conversation, but it's getting more and more intense as we go. And it's really time to stop trying to stick it to the man by swinging from the patriarchy to the matriarchy. We've got to get out of defiance. We got to get out of compliance, and we've got to get into alliance. I had an old mentor that used to say that quite frequently, and I really love that. Getting in alliance with our feminine and our masculine energies, because the femininity and masculinity have nothing to do with gender. We have both of those traits, both of those energies in each of us. But as women, we are designed to create differently from a man. So I really want you to stop doing life like a man and start being a woman. Laura Doyle likes to say, you are not a shorter, less hairy man. And I absolutely agree with her. But we've only really ever been taught the masculine way to approach life, to approach goals, to approach our dreams and all of that. And we haven't been taught to lead out with our feminine energy. So what I wanted to do is just spend a few minutes in discussing feminine energy versus masculine energy and those different traits that belong with each of those energies. And I want you to think to yourself, where do you spend most of your time? Do you spend most of your time in feminine energy, or do you spend most of your time in masculine energy? And you'll be able to know when you're out of balance, because I'll let you know how to tell when you're out of balance in one or the other and how to get back into balance. One of the qualities of the feminine is being. The quality of the masculine is doing. Spontaneity and being spontaneous is definitely a feminine trait, and being predictable is a masculine trait. The feminine is intuitive. The masculine is logical. The feminine is all about being playful, and the masculine is all about thinking. Feminine is about beauty and beautiful things, and the masculine is about functionality and functional things. The feminine is about being invisible, and the masculine is about being concrete. Another quality of the feminine is dynamic, being dynamic. Whereas masculine is all about being sturdy. The feminine is circular. The masculine is linear. The feminine is vulnerable. The masculine is protective. The feminine is all about nurturing. The masculine is all about providing. The feminine is very much about the we and community and the collective. And masculinity is about individuality. It's about the I. Feminine is all about receiving. Masculine is all about giving. And the feminine quality of the and, wanting to have this and that, is indicative of the feminine quality. And the either or is indicative of a masculine quality. So I want you to think about these different qualities, and this certainly is not an exhaustive list, but it gets you going, it gets us going in the right direction. Which energy as a woman are you in more often? I found that especially for ambitious, driven, goal-oriented women, we're in masculine energy a whole lot more than we're in feminine energy. We're in the push, the constant doing. Oh, which reminds me, the feminine energy is a pulling kind of an energy, and the masculine energy is a pushing kind of an energy. Now, one is not better than the other. However, as women, one is more efficient to use than the other. If we're in constant push all the time, it leads to exhaustion, it leads to burnout. More importantly than any of that, overwhelm as well, but it leads us to feeling completely unfulfilled. If we're in constant push and if we're in constant masculinity, but we don't know how to really tell if we're in too much masculinity. And then if we are, like, what do we do to get back into the feminine? Now, is it possible as a woman to be in too much feminine energy and need to balance it out with masculine energy? Absolutely, yes, it is. So let's talk about those. If you are in too much masculine, you feel overwhelmed, you feel burned out, and you feel unfulfilled. And most women in business, whether you have your own business or whether you work for a corporation and you're looking for a promotion, you're looking for a raise, you're looking for like whatever that is, you're wanting to scale the corporate ladder, we get into massive amounts of masculinity. And then what happens is we reach that goal and we feel like we've sacrificed our identity, because as women, many times we feel like we've sacrificed our relationships, we've sacrificed our children, all on this altar of achievement. And we reach that next achievement and all we feel is tired. We might feel fulfilled for a week or so, and then it's just back to the grind, and it's back to the same old, and we're left feeling empty. We're left feeling like, what's the point of everything? And that's an indication that you're creating in too much masculine energy. So we need to balance the scales, and we need to start leading out with the feminine. Now, if you're in too much feminine energy, it can start to make you feel listless. You can start feeling very restless, and you can feel very scattered if all you are living in is that feminine energy, because we want to lead out with the feminine. And Regina Thomasschauer says that the primary function of the feminine is desire, and the primary function of the masculine is production of that desire. So if we're in too much just desire and we're not giving any structure behind it, it makes us feel like we just kind of spin and we don't get anything done. It's like if we take water from a glass and we just pour it out all over the counter, it doesn't have any power. It just goes everywhere and it just makes a mess. Feminine energy is the same way. If we don't have a structure behind it that's going to help give it that container, it's going to give that shape, it's going to help give it that direction and that flow. But if all we're doing is continually building the structure and we've forgotten the point of the structure, we very quickly feel overwhelmed. We feel burned out. We feel exhausted. So if you're in too much masculine energy, it's time to get into one of those qualities of the feminine. So if you're in lots of thinking, right? Like you're just thinking, and you're trying to puzzle things out in your mind all the time. Well, the opposite of thinking is being playful. So we want to get out of the thinking and get into play for just a few minutes. That gets us out of that masculine energy. And you'll feel it as a woman because it'll start feeling really heavy to you. You'll start feeling like you're enduring to the end, and you start telling yourself, okay, just 15 more minutes. We can hang on for 15 more minutes. All right. When you start saying things like that to yourself, you've been in too much masculine for too long. So we need to flip it and get into the feminine. So you've got to do something different. You've got to get into some play. Now, this doesn't mean you go spend 4 hours playing. You can do 10 minutes of playing and feel so restored and so rejuvenated and so refreshed. It also helps sharpen your focus. It helps you to get tasks done faster because your focus isn't scattered anymore because you've gotten that reset and you've gotten that rejuvenation. So find things that are really simple, that feel playful to you, that you don't really let yourself do very often. I'll go stand out in the grass and I'll just get back into my body. I'll sway, I'll turn on music, but I have to leave my office. So I work from home. So I have to physically leave my office. And I would say whether you work from home or not, if you're in an office, if you're in a space and that energy is feeling heavy because you've been pushing the river for too long, you've been in too much masculine energy for too long, leave it. Leave the space. Go into the women's restroom, go into a hallway, go down the stairwell, go into your car, go to the parking lot. It doesn't matter. If you're working from home, then go outside or go into another room, but physically leave the environment you're in so you can change up that energy and then start to play. I love to turn on music and just dance. And I've told people all over the place, I am a dancer and I have no skill. So you don't have to have skill to have fun dancing. But even if it's in a bathroom stall and you just turn on some music, put it in your earbuds, and then just start moving your hips and just swaying just a little bit, but getting into your body, you're going to pop yourself into that feminine energy quite quickly. And you're going to feel this burst of like life. You'll feel alive again. You'll feel back in touch with yourself. And when you spend just a few minutes there, it's so much easier to then go back and look at the project you're working on with fresh eyes, with new eyes. And literally what you're doing is you're putting yourself into a higher vibration where the great ideas are. And then those ideas can then come trickle down on you. And then you can get through that task with so much more ease, so much more speed, and a ton more pleasure. It's all about pleasure. That's what we're built for. Women are built for pleasure. And we've been taught that it's something to be ashamed of. It's something to feel guilty by, or guilty of, and that it's a waste of time. But if you are doing something that you enjoy, it's never a waste of time. It's just a matter of having that balance. When you've been in play long enough, your body will tell you, you'll feel it. And then it's like, okay, let's go back and finish whatever it is that we started. Remember, the primary function of the feminine is desire, and the primary function of the masculine is the production of that desire, but we must have both. We must have both and be alliance with both to have that powerful creative experience that we desire. But I want you to start where you're at. So jot down the different qualities of the feminine, the different qualities of the masculine, and take a look at one of the feminine qualities that you'd like to play in for the next little while. Maybe one that you haven't let yourself explore, spontaneity, or even beauty, surrounding yourself with more beauty, whatever one feels light and feels fun and maybe pops to you just a little bit. But pick one of those and just spend more time there. Be more intentional, spending some more time within the next week and see how you feel. Now, if you like this and you want some more support, because remember, the feminine is all about community. It's all about the we have a Facebook group for you. It's called Success Without Struggle. There are powerful, wonderful women in there. My team and I are in there regularly, seeing what's going on, what you're up to, and how we can support you there. So you can click on the link below or just do a search for Success Without Struggle. Come join us on Facebook. Come play. Let's create a reality that becomes a dream for you together in the Success Without Struggle Facebook group. And until next time, remember, prosperity becomes you.